Good day students. Today we are going to discuss about Unit 5 Formation of Fabrics. So what are the fabric methods available, formation methods and what type of fabrics we are producing in textile field. So normally the woven fabric is the major one and knitted fabric, finally the non-woven. And braiding is also one of the formation of fabric technique. So what is woven fabric? So here the woven fabric is a material, the two ends warp yarn and webbed yarns are interlaced each other. So by this way we produce the woven fabric by using looms. So looms are available from as hand loom to shuttleless loom. Next one is a knitted fabric. Here loop is the main factor. The interlooping of yarns produce the fabric. It's a knitted fabric. The main purpose of knitted fabric is used as inner wear because of its elasticity. The next fabric formation method is non-woven. Here the bonding techniques, other name of non-woven is a bonded fabrics. The bonding takes plays a important role. The fibers are bonded with some sources. For example, it may be a heat, it may be a chemical, it may be a pressure, it may be a water or anything. We are using some source to produce the fabric with the help of entanglement technology. So first we are going to discuss about the woven fabric, the classification of loom. What is a loom? Loom is an instrument or mechanism which is used to produce the fabric. So here the classification of looms. So hand loom and power loom. Hand loom is a conventional loom. Nowadays we are using used to produce mats and towels. So hand loom also we classify into Dobby and Jacquard. Then power looms are divided into majorly two categories. First one is shuttle loom, another one is a shuttleless loom. Here the Tappert, Dobby, Jacquard is the most famous looms. What is Tappert, Dobby and Jacquard means it's a shedding mechanisms. So the not to control the minimum ends or not to produce a minimum design, we can use Tappert loom. If it is small to large designs, if it is a medium design, we can go for Dobby loom. If it is very large design like bedsheet like materials, we can go for Jacquard. Here each and individual ends are controlled by the Jacquard. Shuttleless looms, the absence of shuttle in the loom is known as shuttleless loom. There are projectile loom, rapier looms, adjet loom and waterjet looms are available in the category of shuttleless loom. What is shuttle? What is shuttleless loom? Shuttle, which is a webbed carrier element, webbed carrier equipment or small piece of wood material. The weight of the shuttle is around 450 grams. If the shuttle is present in a loom, then it is a shuttle loom. If the shuttle is absent, instead of shuttle, we are carrying a material, the webbed material by any other sources. For example, projectile, rapier or water or adjet means then it is a shuttleless looms. So these are the major classification of looms. Next classification of knitting. So we know knitting is a interlooping of yarns. Here we can divide into warp knitting and web knitting. Web knitting is subdivided into flat, circular, then single jersey, double jersey, etc. So the warp knitting and web knitting, the web knitting is mostly used in nowadays for producing inner wears. Warp knitting is mostly famous for producing mosquito nets. So the circular knitting machine which produce single jersey and double jersey fabrics. The single jerseys are normally used in inner wears. Next classification of non-woven. Non-woven is a material which is produced by entanglement of fibers. So non-woven, here the web formation technique is most important one. We can use dry laid, wet laid or polymer laid web manufacturing processes. Here, the fibers are entangled together, and a force is applied. It may be a chemical bonding or mechanical bonding, thermal bonding, spun bond, and a melt blown. Any one technique is used to produce the non-woven fabric. In the mechanical bonding, the needle punching technique is most famous one. Here, the fibers. So, for example, these are the fibers means the barbed needle. So, penetrate inside the fibers up and down. So, it makes a entanglement of fiber. Because of this entanglement, bonding will happen. This bonding is called needle punching method of nano manufacturing process. So, the nanowovens are produced in several methods. It may be a chemical method or mechanical method or thermal method, spun bond and a melt blown technology. So, these are all the fabric formation methods: woven, knitted and non-woven fabrics formation methods. This diagram explains the phases of material or path of a warp yarn in a basic loom. Here the parts are, this is a weaver's beam, these two are lace rods, this is a back heel and another is a front heel. These are lace rods, this is a back heel and a front heel, this is a reed, fell of the cloth, temple, breast beam, emery roller, tension rod, finally it's a cloth roller. So, what is weaver's beam? By how it is produced? After cone winding process, the cones are converted into warp beam. Then the warp beam is subjected to sizing process, then produce a sizing process, sized beam. So, this is a sized beam, otherwise called as weaver's beam. So, the sized beam is fixed in a back of the loom, which is ready for producing the fabric. The unwinding of weaver's beam, it takes place with the help of let of motions. So, in a loom, normally we are following three types of motions. First one is called primary motion. So, types of motions in a loom. So, primary motions. Secondary motions. Third one is the axillary motions. So, what are primary motion? So, these motions are very important. Without this primary motion, it is not possible to produce the fabric. It is not possible to run the loom. So, shedding, picking, beat up. These are all the primary motions. Secondary motion, these motions are necessary for smooth running of a loom. So, let of motion, take up motions. So, these are all secondary motions. Axillary motion, for enhancing the quality, enhancing the process performance, we are using some motions. These motions are called axillary motions. So, web to fork mechanism, warp staff motion, temples. These are all the axillary motions. So, what is shedding? So, in a loom, we produce the fabric. So in order to produce the fabric, we divide the warp sheet into two layers. So this is, so while forming the two layers only, we can insert the weft yarn in the in between the two layers. This formation of two layers is called shedding. For producing the sheds, we are using shedding mechanism. It may be a tappet, Dobby, or jacquard mechanism are used to produce the shedding. So picking. Insertion of weft yarn inside the shed is the picking motions. So the underpick mechanism and overpick mechanism are used to give the picking force. So beat up. So the inserted pick is engaged with the fabric. So towards the fabric cloth, because of the beat up, only the material travels to the fabric cloth. That force is called beat up force. So these are the primary motion: shedding, formation of two layers, picking, insertion of picks, beat up to produce the fabric by giving beating. So the secondary process, secondary motions, let off motion and take up motion. What is let off motion? To unwind the warp yarn from the beam is a let off motion. In this, a controlled predetermined length of yarn is unwound with the help of let off motions. Here, take up motions, the produced fabric is wound on a cloth roller with the help of take up motions. So the 7-wheel take up motion is the most famous one. Then axillary motions. Axillary motions are tertiary motions. Here these motions are used to enhance the process efficiency. For example, weft to fork mechanism. If the weft yarn is exhausted or cut, the machine stop the machine immediately. Warp stop motion. Here, if any breakages happen in a warp end, this mechanism stop the loom immediately. And also the temple is a selvage purpose. So these are all the primary, secondary and axillary motions are used in. Here the unwinding of weaver's beams takes place, the let off motion is a secondary motion. By let off motion, the unwinding is takes place, then it is passed through the lace back rest and lace rod to the heel frame. The up and down motion of the heel frame produces the shed. So the shed is the bottom coastal set to open set, n number of set typings are available. The shed is framed by the shedding mechanisms. Then the pick is inserted. The reed beat the pick into the fabric cloth. Then the produced fabric is wound on a suitable roller arrangement. This is the operation sequence of a basic loom. So from weaver's beam to cloth, so the parts, heel frames, reed, lace rods are available to guide the material towards the cloth roller. So then a difference between weaving and knitting. So we know very well about the weaving. It's the interlacement of fabric. What's knitting? The interlooping of fabric. So the what is the difference? So definition wise, the fabric forming process by interlacement of warp yarns. Here fabric forming process by intermeshing of loops. So intermeshing or interlooping of loops produce knitted fabric. Elasticity. So the woven fabric, because of its more interlacement, the elasticity is very less when compared to knitted fabric, or no elasticity. In the knitted fabric, the fabric shows high amount of stretch and elasticity due to loop structure. The loops are form the fabric, so the loops can extend and give the proper elasticity to the fabric. The dimensional stability, good dimensional stability which cause less shrinkage in the woven fabric. Here the dimensional stability is poor because the interlooping of yarns, creates less dimension stability when compared to woven fabric. Durability, the durability is more important one. So the weaving, the woven fabric give more durable when compared to knitted fabric. Here less durable. Slacking under loosening, the fabric provides good stability due to intersecting of yarns at right angle. It creates a problem after wearing for long time. Air permeability, the less air permeable because of its compact structure. Here more air permeability when compared to woven fabric. Crease, woven fabrics are more inclined to crease, so the ironing and iron retention are better in knitted fabric. So knitted fabrics are more resistant to crease, so it requires no ironing. Here ironing is required, knitted fabric not required ironing. The production cost is more due to war preparation and de-seasing process. Production cost is less due to modest manufacturing process. The TPE, twist per inch of yarn, is comparatively higher than knitted yarn. Here less TPE is required. So these are all the difference between woven fabric and knitted fabric. Next topic is difference between woven and non-woven fabric. So the first difference between material, the woven fabrics and non-woven fabrics has great difference in the raw material. The woven fabric is made with cotton fabric, cotton material, wool, silk, linen, hemp, leather, etc. So all the fibers are used in woven material. It may be natural, it may be semi-synthetic, or it may be synthetic. All the fibers are used in woven fabric. But in case of non-woven fabric, the major one is polypropylene, PET, PA, viscose, acrylic fibers, and PVC, etc. So the limited fibers are only used in non-woven fabric making. Manufacturing process, the woven fabric is weaved with looms by interlacing warp and webbed threads. So we know very well the weaving process. The yarns from loom to spinning process, the yarn is produced, then the produced yarn is wound on a suitable weaver's beam, then weft is inserted. By this way we can produce the woven fabric when compared to non-woven fabric. Here the non-woven fabric is directly bonding fibers together by physical means. The non-woven has no weft and warp yarn. So durability, the woven cloth appears more durable than non-woven fabric because its compact structure and the more interlacement. The woven fabric has good strength and more durability than non-woven fabric. The fibers of non-woven fabrics are arranged in a certain direction, which is easy to split from the right angle. The arrangement of fibers, when you applying the force on the non-woven fabric, the arrangement of fibers are crisscross manner, so it easily get damaged. Durability, non-woven shopping bags can be completely decomposed within 90 days in outdoor condition and 8 years in the indoor direction. So different to non-woven, the non-woven fabric has more stable features with excellent durability, that it cannot be degraded naturally as fast as non-woven. So degradation time is vary in between woven and non-woven fabric. Usage, the woven fabrics are strong and structurally sound, widely used to create various kinds of clothes, bedding sets, and towels, etc. The non-woven fabrics are lightweight and eco-friendly, widely used for manufacturing all sorts of recyclable or disposable items such as surgical gown, facial mask, diapers, wallpapers, industrial filters, and shopping bags, etc. So, summary of this class. So, first we discussed about the fabric forming technique. So, woven fabric manufacturing, knitted fabric manufacturing, non-woven fabric manufacturing. So then we discussed about the classification. So warm fabric classification may be a subtle loom or subtle loom fabrics. Here warp and webbed knitted fabric. Here different methods, different bonding methods are available for producing the fabric. Next, difference between woven and knitted. The last topic is difference between woven and non-woven. So these are the topics covered today. Here the overall summary is the property of woven fabric is better than the non-woven fabric. And in case of knitted fabric, the elasticity is more when compared to other methods. The non-woven fabric give you more production when compared to other two methods.